So I said my dad was in computer stuff. He was, I forget what age. He's mid to late 40s, I guess, at that point. Had been doing computer stuff for a long time. A lot of the companies that he worked with, he was completely independent, had his own business, and had a couple different companies that he worked with. They were realizing, hey, we can hire some entry level guys for like a fraction of the price.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the newer languages. They're fresh out of college, all this stuff. And so he kind of saw the writing on the wall that like he was going to have to go through a career transition at that point. So during that time I was in college, he and my mom both started looking into real estate investing and going to the real estate investors associations. I'm not sure how they first got synced into this stuff, but like they went to a lot of the boot camps, learning from different real estate investing gurus, how to make money without money kind of stuff, looking into wholesaling. They got hooked into doing short sales at the time. This was 2004, 2005. So it's really before that, like those terms got into like everybody knew what those were. As like everybody's still riding the high at that time. No income, no job, no assets. Let's go get a home. All the stuff you see in the movie The Big Short that the people were doing, they got them in trouble.
Good movie, by the way.
Yeah, fantastic movie. Have lived those dramatizations of going and knocking for and meeting a tenant and be like, hey, do you know this house is in foreclosure? They're like, no, I'm making my rent payments. Well, the landlord isn't.
Yeah.
This is getting taken away. So I'm kind of jumping ahead to that, how I got to that point. But my parents got into that stuff, got me intrigued. I went ahead when I was at OU. I was able to take free electives to take the courses for getting my real estate license.
Now, did they get licensed or were they just more on the investment side?
Yeah, so they were in the investment stuff. Decided my mom would get her real estate license. So she got licensed in 2005.
Okay.
So gave them, they were doing some of that stuff already, but gave them basically exit strategy. They can sell some of them through their traditional means on that as well, access the properties, stuff that they would maybe buy, fix, and then go ahead and flip. So
yeah,
they saw it as a tool for her to get that real estate license. So I went in, I was going to get I got mine. I finished up in college in psychology, which I didn't realize quite how much I would be using that today. Judgment and decision-making was by far like one of my favorite classes that I ever took there. Use on a daily basis, trying to help people navigate through that think that they're doing everything entirely logically, smart, intelligent people that make every decision straight from the heart.
Yeah.
So they just get so overwhelmed with emotion. So like going all the way back to that stuff is being used to understanding people, understanding how they think, how they feel, how they react to different things, and navigating through that.
Did you have interest in that, or is that like in
psychology?
That's like two different, worlds. Computer
science. A little bit. My sister was into that stuff. My wife, and so we started dating our sophomore year of college, and she was getting into criminology. See, I can't even remember the degree because she's not doing that today.
Yeah,
but that's also part of the journey too. Is that she was going to go to a master's program for getting into that. So, like psychology, nobody goes and gets a bachelor's in psychology and then goes into their career. You pretty much have to go on to get a master's. So I had thought about that path. I was kind of done with school in my head at that point. I was never somebody that was really like, I was intelligent, got great scores on SATs, ACTs, all that stuff. I was the exact dead middle of my graduating class. Like we were 380 something. And I was like 190 in there. It was, but it's all in Tangy. So it was still like a 3.4 GPA.
Right.
Time. So would do fantastic anywhere else. But so, I was done at that point with school. I was always more motivated by like a limitless ceiling to whatever my efforts are. Like I can't get any better than a A+.
Yeah.
Like, give me some bonus credit. Give me some cash incentives.
Right.
They don't do that, but cash incentives would be great. No, so good. It was natural then to end up in a career path that has commission type sales, limitless income potential. But I was just going to go ahead and follow my wife for her going to get her master's. She was exploring schools out in Baltimore. I was like, cool, I'll take my license. I'll go out there, sell homes in Baltimore. I've never been there before. This is our first time, just going for the visit. Inner Harbor is pretty cool. Yeah, I can sell homes there.
Yeah.
And so we went out there to visit. I think she went to 2 or 3 schools to interview and talk with, and, you know, explored a little bit. And then we started making the 6-7 hour drive back to Columbus. And by the time we hit the Maryland border, she just turns to me and she's like, I don't think I can be this far away from family. So she is from a small town just outside of Columbus, Coshocton. She's, you know, I don't even know what their population is, but like very, very close with their mom, with their grandparents, all that stuff, and just could not be states and hours away, a plane flight away from that. So I'm like, it's okay. We got a long drive. We can talk through this. We can, you know, figure out where our next path is. And so maybe we should stick around in Columbus for a little bit, something like that. So by the time we hit the Ohio border is when I got a call from my mom. And so she had already been licensed for 2 years at that point, got really into doing the short sale stuff, called me up and said, hey, is there any way I can convince you to stay in Ohio, stay in Columbus? I could really use your help. Because I just took on a couple different clients with a lot of properties that are in foreclosure. One of them, they had 18 investment properties, all in default, probably about $120,000 mortgage on every one of them. So about $2 million in loans. How they got qualified for them, I have no idea, because the only income that they had was their at-home daycare, and her husband worked as a janitor part-time at the church next door to them.
Oh, gosh.
$2 million. We ended up doing short sales so that they didn't go through foreclosure, save some of the credit damage, save some of the repercussions of banks coming after them for the default, for the difference in that, and got payoffs of, I think, like probably about $35,000 on each one of those. So 25 cents on the dollar for pretty much.
And what year was that?
That was 2007.
Okay.
2007, 2008, something.
Really just right before.
Yeah. Right as everything just started taking that kind of nosedive that happened then. So that's when I got licensed, was in 2007. And every time I ever say that to anybody, it's like, oh, so yeah, right as it peaked. I'm like, I kind of came in like knowing it was happening because I already was seeing the signs from what my parents saw and who they were listening to and what I got introduced to. So the writing was already on the wall at that point. So
yeah. You know, it's a different time back then with the financing stuff, you know, and like, you know, a lot of agents that got in, you know, even after me, I got in 2011, you know, they haven't experienced kind of what that type of market was like. I didn't even really experience, I got to the tail end of it. Nothing too crazy compared to, you know, 08 and 09, but